Is there any worse feeling in the world than guilt? Almost all of us feel it from time to time, some more than others. But there are a few people who seem never to feel a sense of guilt. Now, I'm no psychologist, but I suspect there is a psychological disorder underlying this lack of or ability to feel guilt. Still, is guilt a healthy thing to feel? Shouldn't we do everything in our power to alleviate our sense of guilt? Let's talk about it. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. I worry about the people on the extremes. I worry about people who seem to carry a sense of guilt everywhere they go. You can see it in their faces and in the way they carry their bodies. It's as if a personal rain cloud follows them everywhere, 24/7, so gloomy do they always look. It's as if they carry a 50-pound sack of rocks over their shoulders, so hunched over do they walk. This is not normal, and it's not healthy. At the other end of the spectrum, though, there are those who never seem to be burdened by guilt. I worry about them as much as I worry about the folks who carry a burden of guilt everywhere. Or should I rather say, I worry about the people in their lives, people who are the victims of their unfeeling behavior. These are the people who manage to rationalize everything they do, no matter how destructive, and they always blame others when bad things happen. No sense of accountability for their behavior. As with the folks who carry guilt around 24/7, lacking any sense of guilt is neither normal nor healthy. But in between these two extremes stand the rest of us. We do experience feelings of guilt from time to time. For the most part, we know when we do or say something to hurt someone else that we ought to feel guilty. Maybe it's a harsh word spoken in anger to someone we love when they haven't done or said anything to deserve our lashing out. Or perhaps in a moment of panic and desperation, we've lied to cover up the fact that we have failed to do something we promised to do. Or maybe in a moment of emotional vulnerability, we have sought emotional comfort outside our most intimate relationships, violating the integrity of our vows. Whatever the reason, and there are very, very many, we find ourselves burdened with a sense of guilt. And for the most part, this is healthy. It is our moral, spiritual center of being alerting us that we have done something wrong. We're not alone in this sense of guilt. The psalm writers shared this same sense of guilt. We began Lent with the most profound of these psalms, Psalm 51, where David confesses his guilt over his affair with Bathsheba and his conspiracy to have her husband, his general Uriah the Hittite, killed in battle to cover up his affair. Psalm 130 expresses the sense and feeling of guilt as well as any and better than most. The psalmist says, "Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the voice of my supplications. If you, O Lord, should mark iniquities, Lord, who could stand? But there is forgiveness with you, so that you may be revered. I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in his word I hope. My soul waits for the Lord more than those who watch for the morning, more than those who watch for the morning. O Israel, hope in the Lord. For with the Lord there is steadfast love, and with him is great power to redeem. It is he who will redeem Israel from all its iniquities." This psalm begins with a heartfelt plea for God to listen and a statement of faith that in God there is indeed forgiveness of sin. You can hear the anguish of the psalmist speaking from a place of a deep sense of guilt. And in one of the most memorable phrases in the entire book of Psalms, the psalmist expresses the sense of hopeful waiting for God's coming and God's redemption when he says, "My soul waits for the Lord more than those who watch for the morning, more than those who watch for the morning." A sense of guilt and a feeling of guilt is real. One can cure it by simply denying responsibility for any and all faults, or one can place one's hope for forgiveness and renewal in the grace and mercy of God. I choose to place my hope in God. After all, when we let ourselves truly feel the weight of guilt, only then can we truly appreciate how great God's grace really is. Tomorrow, flesh and spirit, a distinction that is not exactly what you think. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.